I was journaling about this now. When I was younger, full of degeneracy and anxiety, I wished to be the richest man on earth. I had this vision. Um, I wanted to achieve that goal. And little did I know that the richest man on earth might be the poorest in heaven. Besides, the point that I also meditated about is riches is relative. The richest man on paper today, whoever that might be, let's say Elon Musk, right, isn't really the richest man in the world. There are richer people who haven't publicized their riches, and even Elon Musk admitted that. So it's ironic, right? And And so to measure one's value through money is stupid because it really is just a number. Money is being inflated, every single minute, every passing hour. $100,000 10 years ago meant like had different value compared to $100,000 now. And so to put all of our value and measure it by money is is irrelative and doesn't have like any value. It's not backed up by anything. Even money isn't backed up by gold, right? And even though it was backed up by gold, then what is gold? It's just a rare material that's found on earth. But then we are limiting ourselves to be bound by earth and earth alone, without any mission, without any purpose. We're just here to live and go on and move forward. But that removes the taste from life. That removes the meaning of life. And so there's something deeper. And whatever your religion might be, I'm not an expert in that topic, but what I found to be super helpful for me was reading the Bible and implementing Jesus's principles and morals that he taught. So right now, I'm reading the introduction to the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapter 5 to 7. And here he talks about treasures in heaven. So, like, do not store up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moths and vermin destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where moths and vermin do not destroy, and where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eyes are unhealthy, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? No one can serve two masters. Either you will hate one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. The last sentence is what caught my attention the most, and I've been meditating about this topic for a long time right now. Like, going from the person who cared a lot about money to the person who gave it like less value. Um, and I think my understanding is deepening around that topic. So here, Jesus says, you cannot serve both God and money. And what I found, like this is so true. Why? Again, one of my role models is Elon Musk, and he is supposedly the richest man on earth. But besides the wealth that he has, I really love how much he's built, what he's done in this world, the companies, like his entrepreneurial spirit overall. And I've watched a lot of his podcasts, and on the podcast, he also says, and I'm paraphrasing it here, that my mind is sort of a storm that never stops. And he says a lot of people want to be like me, but they don't want to actually. So he admitted it himself. Now, how does he find joy? How does he find happiness in life? I'm not sure. And from my understanding, from what he said, his life is super chaotic. That is mainly because of the power and the money that he's accumulated. Because, of course, if you want to reach these high levels of riches, like you must be paranoid. You must be thinking all the time, who's gonna come after my money? Who's trying to kill me? Who's doing all of that? And I think that makes it super hard to go deep and find serenity and peace in oneself, because you would be so distracted in trying to fight outside battles. So at least that's my understanding of it. It might be right, it might be wrong. I don't know. But that wasn't part of the meditation. I just talked about this because it came to mind. So with all that being said, I don't want to discard money's importance. Money is still important. And if you structure your life to get money as a tool to buy freedom, support others, build great businesses that serve society and make other people's lives better. And that is sort of the things that I have that are like motivations for the future, are to buy fun toys for your children. Something that I really like having is, when I have children, if God wills, to get them to do activities that might maybe cost a lot of money, like arts, certain arts, sports, maybe expensive sports, for example, Formula One, or you're riding horses. I don't know what's that called, but yeah, one of the things I like is for, let's say, if I get a son, because I like Formula One, I would introduce him to the idea. If he likes it, then maybe I can work on helping him become a champion. And of course, to do that, it's better to have money than not. So things like that require money. Traveling with family and friends requires money. Going to different historical places and churches, and affording better, let's say, a content team that can help me put out better videos that are more engaging, that will deliver the messages that I share to the world in a better way. And a deep mission that I have is to document everything, which I'm doing right now, with the goal of also sharing what I learned so that people can take these learnings and implement them into their life. Like, I want to be as practical as possible and share the theories that I have so that you, as the viewer, can take them, implement them, and also gain the life of freedom that I have gained, like recording this video now, and teaching others, having the ability to teach others, having the ability to afford investing in great mentors that are helping me in my business, the ability to have great mentors in other areas of my life, like religion, health, everything. So just, I think, super blessed to like have the great health that I have, and the humility to learn, implement, and then based on the implementations and the results I get from that, I can pass on the knowledge and the learnings that I've gotten and share them with the rest of the world, so that of course this cycle repeats and everyone gets to learn and design and architect their life the way they want to. So these are, I listed the things that money as a tool can buy. They're amazing. And yeah, through, like, as I matured more, I realized that, like, you don't have to be poor to be happy. You don't have to be rich to be happy. You just need to define what you need money for, and get it as as a byproduct of doing good to society, because it will reward you with the money you deserve. And then not have it as your God. You can still have God as your God and money as a tool. And I think that is the best balance. And that is why Jesus says that you cannot serve both God and money. There's also another piece of confluence from Rockefeller, where he talks about like the importance of money. If you don't know Rockefeller, he was the richest man in his time. So Rockefeller's personal fortune was estimated at $900 million, which accounted for roughly 2 to 3% of the U.S. GDP at the time of his death in 1937. His wealth was approximately 1.5% of the GDP. So compared to now, 3% of the US GDP is roughly $29 trillion. That's crazy. That's crazy. So Rockefeller's personal fortune was estimated at $900 million, which indeed accounted for roughly 2 to 3% of the US GDP. At the time of his death in 1937, his wealth approximately 1.5% of GDP. Now, 3% of the US GDP is roughly $29 trillion. It's crazy. And so here's the text I sent. Rockefeller owned 3% of GDP. So I was fact checking this. What was his net worth also relative to now, and what are his thoughts on money and God? Because I read his book, so it was Rockefeller Letters, the 38 letters from J.D. Rockefeller to his son. Really nice letters. I highly recommend you go through them too. So Rockefeller was a devout Northern Baptist and viewed his business success through a deeply religious lens. God gave me my money, he famously stated. I believe the power to make money is a gift from God to be developed and used for good of mankind. He did not see conflict between amassing wealth and serving God, provided he was a good steward. He began giving interesting. How much is enough? Despite his failure, God started with pursuit of wealth. It's something like how much money was enough. So it's not mentioned here, but I remember when reading one of his letters to his son, he gives an example, analogy of why money is important, and he compares, let's say, someone who isn't able to get enough money to support his family, of why they are doing a disservice to their family and to God, compared to someone who is getting that money and is able to serve more people. So money in it of itself isn't a sin, but just following money and having it as the main driver of life is the actual sin. So Rockefeller viewed the power to make money as a gift from God and believed it carried the divine responsibility to be used for the betterment of humanity, right? Because when you get more money, and one of the main reasons for why, if you're watching this channel, I want to go from making 10,000 to 20,000 per month from the business, all the way to making 200,000, or even the big goal, of course, would be to be making millions each month. What this will afford is a better team. And since I'd like to carry on a vision that I think will serve thousands or even millions of people around the world with their fitness journey, their make money online journey, everything, because I work directly with online coaches, and these coaches help people lose fat, build great bodies, build great health, a great life, make more money online, right? So because I'm indirectly helping this cause. So affording, like making more money will help me afford better people, better talent to help me build on this vision and do a greater service to all of humanity. So that is a big reason alongside the ones that I stated as well. So there are like the personal reasons and the business reasons. And to continue here, service versus the service. He thought that earning money was a form of stewardship. For Rockefeller, failing to provide for one's family or community when given the ability was a neglect of that stewardship. He argued that having resources allowed the person to amplify their capacity to do good, effectively serving more people through philanthropy. And also note that money is infinite. Like if you make money and you take that money, it's not like you're taking it away from someone else. No, as long as you're providing value to the marketplace, it will have enough money. It will create enough money to reward you with it. So by making more money, you're not taking it from anyone else's path, but you're making it so that you can help others too. The actual sin, he explicitly warned that money is fire, neutral in its in itself, but danger if it becomes the object of worship. So again, confluence with this. You cannot serve both God and money. The sin was not having money, but following it as the primary driver. He famously said that the man who starts out with the sole goal of getting rich will not succeed. True success only comes to those with larger ambition. So again, I don't know why I didn't mention, but you got the example. And yeah, it's true. Like you want to have deeper reasons for making money. Now, I also wrote, part of me is materialistic, but I don't look at what I own as what defines me. So, for example, I wouldn't buy a fake Rolex to fake my success. I wouldn't buy anything fake. Because deep inside, I don't want to, like, I know I will have this dissonance that makes my life uneasy and makes me feel inauthentic. My main goal with everything is to be as authentic as possible, to share the truth. That's how I will live a happy life. And I know that, if 5 years down the line I say something, it's actually truth. Because let's say I lie right now, I lie to you about disbelief. And then 2 years later, because I forgot about the lie that I mentioned, I make a mistake and say something different. Well, guess what? If I gain a higher viewership, then more people will investigate in what I'm doing, and they will find that, oh, Liam said this 2 years ago, and now he's saying something different. Turns out to be wrong. Boom, my entire reputation gone. I'm just a fake guy out there on the internet trying to fake everything, whatever. So that is the external reason, but again, the internal one is just being like not being a liar, not having this dissonance in myself. So I think also the Bible should talk about this topic. um what does Jesus say about lying? The cool thing is that you can find the answers to life's biggest questions in the Bible. And in my experience, it has, like, every time I implemented something practical from there, it has turned out to make my life better, to make it less of the negative things, the anxiety, the depression, although I never got like depressed, or I don't know your definition of what it is might be, but those feelings that make your life worse and make you want to live less, compared to the feelings that you get that excite you to wake up the next day, do great things, and put in the effort, and make the sacrifices you should make for a higher purpose. So, Jesus views lying as a fundamental contradiction to God's nature and a serious threat to the integrity of the soul. He doesn't just condemn the act of lying, he addresses its spiritual origin and its impact on character. The spiritual origin, as in the father of lies, Jesus identifies lying as the native language of the devil. In a sharp rebuke to religious leaders, he stated, "You belong to your father, the devil. When he lies, he speaks his native language, for he is a liar and father of lies." Okay, who's the devil? Right? Who's the devil? Let's say the devil doesn't exist. It's just a word to describe maybe the thoughts and the actions that we take that lead to a worse outcome. And here, Jesus also talks, for example, about adultery, about divorce, about oaths, so about murder. And if you take a scientific approach or a statistical one, and you interview, let's say, murderers or people who have committed adultery, you will find out that after they've done it, their life became harder, became worse. They had a lot of shame, a lot of guilt. According to Jesus, truth comes from God, while deception is the primary tool used by the evil one to lead people astray. And also here, he mentions about, I don't know, the oaths. Yeah. So in regards to the oaths, like, you don't have to swear on oath at all. Let your yes be a yes and your no be a no. There's no need for you to swear and do all these oaths and promises. This means that you usually lie. right? When you make oaths, like I swear I will do this and that. Like, why would you do it if whatever you say is whatever you work towards and you're honest? So I think the takeaways that you can have from this video are, first of all, define what you need money for and don't be defined by money. So like connect actual personal goals that can be achieved through money and also the business goals that you want to achieve and require that money, and work towards them, work towards getting them. Right now, I mentioned this in an earlier video, I'm in this phase of being locked in and focusing on the business so I can make that type of money so that I can achieve more of the business and the personal goals. And also, don't lie, like be authentic, build on the truth, because whatever is built on lies will soon enough fall, whether it's a year later, 5 years, 20 years. I just recently read about the Watergate scandal. So like it was a scandal. I know nothing about it, but what I know is that it was a scandal that lasted for like 20 years and then was proven to be a scandal. And all of the liars, everyone that contributed to making it up, here it is, and were indicted. So was it a great outcome? No. Does lying lead to good outcomes? That's a biased question. But anyways, I rarely record videos like this, but yeah, let me know if it's cool. Cheers.